everyone, and welcome to the 2024-2025 Week 1 preview. We are back. I am your commissioner, a.k.a. Buzzsaw, a.k.a. Dragon Slayer, a.k.a. Mr. 4for4, Mr. Modest. We love it. Championship trophy, still not engraved because we're winning it again, boys. Here we go. I'm joined as always by Joel Gibson. Joel, how are you feeling this year?
I feel fucking great. I'm so pumped. It's week 1.
I do want to take the opportunity to say thank you for being alive in the Messenger. It's already been more exciting having you in the Messenger this year. So even though it's just ridiculous videos about your players and what they possibly could be one day, I know I find great joy in it. So shout out to you.
I thought that the video where we clocked Asar Thompson's air balls to makes was really outstanding content. I'm going to be looking to bring more of that to the forefront.
Attacking a man with blood clots, man, that is dirty.
It's an attack at Kyle.
Okay, all right, I'll take that. I do like it. With that in mind, we're going to get right into the first matchup. Now, I do want to say, if you watched the preview show, first of all, thank you for watching that entire 52 minutes, including it being a two-parter because my iPad blew up on us. I have adjusted my rankings just slightly. I went back. I had to redo the scheduling and stuff like that. So I went back and really looked at scheduling a little bit and kind of adjusted my numbers. There's not a lot of differences, but if you hear a different number than you heard in the preview, it's probably because I like your schedule either more or less, depending on if you went up or down. So Joel Gibson, as always, we'll start with the champs matchup for the 4th year in a row. It is Mr. Modest versus Steven. I'm going to go ahead and take Mr. Modest. I have myself ranked as number 1 here, and I have Steven at 8. So, I'm the home team, and even with the injuries, I am not worried. Also, it's a short week, and I have a lot of people in the primetime game to start off as well. So it's kind of shitty for Steven because my scheduling kind of helps me a little bit in this regard. And I think I'm deeper than he is.
Yeah, so you're deeper than he is. Steven really only has one big injury right now. If Steven is smart, and if he watches this video, he should plug Vassell onto his IR and try to cycle your ass. My notes for this matchup is Steven should try to cycle you if he wants any shot at beating you. Make Brandon use his waiver money. He's down Hartenstein, Jay Will, and Strus. If Steven could really apply the pressure, maybe there's a world where in a short week he could pull it off. But he's going to go in guns blazing.
I have 2 counterpoints. I guess they're not necessary. I have 1 counterpoint and just 1 comment. First of all, the comment. I'm going to love this season particularly because you have nothing better to do than just light me on fire the entire time. And so if people are paying attention, you're giving advice on how you would play against me, and it's historically not bad advice. My second counterpoint is Steven, he can try to cycle, and I just don't think he gets there this week. I just don't think so. Even if he does, you're right. I don't plan to cycle in many matchups. And also, Joel, just so you can get off this cycle the bandwagon or whatever, I'm not going for an undefeated season. If we get there at maybe week 12 or week 13 and I'm still undefeated, maybe. But all I'm trying to do is get a decent spot in the playoffs, preferably 1 or 2 if I can. I should have the team to do it. But I'm not afraid to sit on my hands and maybe take a bad loss or 2. Does not bother me. So just keep that in mind as you run your little cycle slander fest against me.
This feels like a good time just to take a moment out and to bring some things that I want to say just to everyone's attention. I'm making a genuine effort this season to, even though I'm tanking, be a fan. I want to see Brandon lose this season. We all should want to see Brandon lose this season. I'm calling out Doug. I'm calling out Cody. I'm calling out CJ. And anybody else, Phil, anyone else who has a shot at Brandon, you guys should go for it now. There is a world where he falls apart. Mike Conley, LeBron James, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green could all go down a level. There's a world where Brandon doesn't win. I am rooting for everyone, not Brandon. So fucking pursue him. I want to see the champ go down.
All right, excellent. Thank you for that. You know you're doing something right if you got haters, and boy, I got a lot of them this season, I guess. Next matchup is Phil at Neiman. Phil I have at number 2. Neiman I have at number 9. Phil is going to win this matchup. I like some pieces of Neiman's team. I just think he has a little bit. I'm not sure what he's doing with. He still has Dinwiddie on his team, right? He has some droppable pieces that I think can make him a little bit more competitive. And right now, unless he makes those changes, I have him just outside the playoffs because he's playing in a very tough division. And I think we can all agree the East is way better than the West. I don't want to say top to bottom, but yikes, there's quite a bit more talent in the East. So with that kind of team having to face Phil, Cody, and Doug twice this season, he might find himself outside a little bit where Steven gets to play Kyle and Adam and teams that aren't nearly as good as those teams that I mentioned. So that's kind of why I had those 8 and 9 flipped, I think, from our preview video. What do you think, Joel?
I'm also leaning towards Phil for the win. The Embiid news where he believes he's never playing back-to-backs again for his career is not encouraging. Phil has really only, I think, Zinger out right now. And there's a lot of upside on his team, whether it's Jalen Green, Luka, Okongwu, Wiggins with a bounce back, or maybe this is the year of Jonathan Isaac. Mm-hmm. I like Phil's team a lot, and I think he's going to clean house pretty easy.
Yep. I just want to bring up one point about that Embiid thing that you brought it up. Just keep in mind that the average, like the range for back-to-backs is like 13 to 16 games. Or 13 to 16 back-to-backs. So what Embiid is really saying there is even if he plays every single game that is not back-to-back, he may never be MVP eligible again, period. He's just like, I'm never going to, as long as that rule is in place, he's essentially taking himself out of the MVP talks. Unless he literally plays every single other game. No rest days, no soreness days, nothing. His only rest days would be those back-to-back days. And that's tough. That's a tough ask for sure. Especially with how many knee issues that he has. So just keep that in mind for people that are like, all this hype for Embiid about another MVP run. I don't think we're going to see it. I don't think he's going to ever get an MVP. Just based on that comment alone.
Crazy.
Next matchup.
Tough time to be an Embiid owner.
Bad time to be an Embiid owner. Should have probably sold high last year. That's all I'll say. Next matchup is Cody, who I have 3, at Joel. Joel I have at 12, as we've talked about before. I'm going to go ahead and just guess that Cody's going to win here. There are very few situations where I see Cody taking a loss to Joel here. If he wanted to, he could. And unlike Joel, I'm not going to be a slanderer, okay? I'm not going to tell people how to play against Joel and try to screw him out of flag, even though he's going to try to screw me out of the championship. I'm the good guy in the league. Villain, good guy, okay? Now, Cody's gonna win here. Joel, your team still has the binoculars out. They don't know when wins are coming, but it's not right now, buddy.
No, it's not gonna be this week. That's for sure. We're gonna keep our eyes out for another week, though.
Next matchup is my matchup of the week. It's number 4, Doug, at number 6, Matt. Now, I had Matt ranked number 5 during the actual preview show, but again, I hold the same argument that he has to play Phil, Doug, and Cody twice. He can compete with them. He's right outside there, but his schedule is way harder than somebody like CJ, who I have at 5, and we'll get to him. I mean, even Adam has a better schedule than Matt. So I put him at 6. It's not saying that his team is any worse than it was when I did that preview. It's just when I started taking the schedule into consideration, there are a lot more pitfalls that Matt has to go up against than, say, a CJ or an Adam. So that's why I dropped him back one spot. I think Doug wins this matchup on the road. And that would mean those top 4 teams that I predicted would all go undefeated this week. We'll see how it goes.
I'm also predicting Doug. Matthew has no Paul George. I'm unclear on if Middleton is playing. And it's first look at Lillard in whatever season this is for him. So we'll see, but I'm picking Doug.
Yeah, you're not Alonzo's going to be the Bulls' savior. You don't think that he's going to come in and take all of Giddey's minutes?
I don't think so. I think there's a higher chance that he gets injured again.
Okay. All right. I'm just checking. Next matchup we have is Kyle, who I have at 11, versus CJ, who I have at 5. Like I said, I moved CJ up a little bit. The Kawhi news is devastating for CJ. Devastating. I think he has a lot more big-time stars. I like what the Suns are doing and we're doing in the preseason, where you saw a lot more threes being taken. So I think that's huge for KD. Even in low minutes, he can still churn it out. Steph, it's just Steph and Draymond, really. We have no idea who else is really going to do the main contributing going on in that rotation. So...
Kuminga.
Well, I hear you with Kuminga. I get it, and everybody's like, well, Kuminga's going to do it. He's going to do it. I'm a very show-me guy, and I don't know if you've noticed this for as long as we've been talking about basketball together. I am 100% a show-me guy, and so far, we don't know what's going to happen. You have Hield there. You have Wiggins there. You have all these people that even if they're throwing up like 25 minutes each, sliding in and out, playing small ball, whatever it is, we don't know what's going to happen there. But right now I know one thing, and that's Steph Curry's going to be good this year. So I am hesitantly saying that CJ's going to be a top 5 team. If Harden returns to any kind of Harden in Houston, anywhere close, right? He doesn't have to worry about Paul George. He doesn't have to worry about Kawhi. It's his show. It's him and Zubac there and Derrick Jones Jr. Like, that's it. That's the 3, right? So there's a ton of upside for CJ's team here. I would just be extremely worried about getting to that top 4 level without Kawhi. I'm not sure he can do that.
Yeah, can Harden put up his prime numbers and maintain that at this point in his career?
And does he care to? Does he care to, I guess is a point to say. Like, can he, and does he care to? Go ahead.
Yeah, he would need to put up like an MVP type season with no Kawhi, I think, for CJ to crack like the top 2.
Mm-hmm. It's a really tough spot for CJ, but you never know. Isaiah Stewart, I heard he's on the come up there in Detroit.
I also heard that Kyle sucks really bad, so CJ's going to win.
Yeah, CJ's going to win for sure. Last matchup is Jake at Adam. Now, Jake made a trade today, and I feel I have to address it because I'm very confused, okay? He made a trade for his next year pick, right? 2026. And that's next year's pick. For Brown, right? Brown. He pronounces it Brown. The little white kid.
I think it's Braun.
Is it Braun? The little white kid on Denver. Okay. I agree that he's going to be a starter for now. But I don't know, like, is that permanent or what the rotation's going to be? Is he the 5th option on offense, right? 5th option. You can say that he's good defensively, but even if he's a steals guy, you took your first round pick and you traded it for a steals guy in the hopes that he gets better?
I mean, I feel like we haven't got really a good look at Christian Braun yet. I didn't I didn't love the trade. I didn't hate it. You got a starter who's in a show me year, and if here's what I think. I think that Jake's team is going to underperform this year, but if he makes a couple moves around the edges with like John Collins, Kyle Kuzma, he could be in like a top 5 position next year. And then that pick is not that valuable. So a starter might help him. But I didn't love it. I didn't hate it.
Yeah, it's just tough because I have him. Last point on this because I don't want to run him through the mud and then we can make our picks. It's more so just if he is finishing how I think he's going to finish this year and he's in the bottom 4, right? If he wanted to take maybe another year off and be in the bottom 4 again and possibly get another first round pick to make a run, I just don't know. Like, with his timing and his young-ish timeline, I'd say. Like, Zion's still, at the end of the day, pretty young. Ingram, we don't know what's going to happen with him. I'm in the same spot I was with Jake last year, where I don't know which way to go with this team. Like, for me, if I'm already in the bottom 4, I'm just not really going to sell off my next pick or my second to next pick in case next year doesn't work out, right? Because if next year doesn't work out, then where do you go if you're Jake? Does that make sense? That's why I didn't like it as much, you know. And like I said, I'm not trying to drag him through the mud or anything. I just like I started rubbing my temples when I first read it, right? That's all I'm saying.
Who did you pick for the matchup?
I'm picking Adam.
I'm picking Jake.
Okay.
I believe in shredded Zion.
And so has everybody that has ever owned him in any NBA fantasy season of all time. I believe in him. You know what I don't believe in? Is that New Orleans organization. They don't have Trey Murphy. I just... If I didn't have DeJounte, I would just wash my hands of the entire organization. And I say that after drafting a rookie center for them, who I believe is going to do very well. That being said, I'm still taking Adam. I love Fox at the end of the day. I think that LaVine, he's healthy, right? He's healthy. He's going to play, and of course, Greek, like, that's a strong top team, top side, and I'm just going to take Adam here.
All right, I'm picking Jake. I'm sticking with my guns.
All right, you stick with your guns. We'll see how this season goes, because like I said, maybe the Braun thing works out. Maybe it works out and it ends up that he's a top 4 team in 2026, and then it was an excellent trade. We can make the argument it was an excellent trade. We don't know. But, yeah, wow, that's it. First week, here we go. Tomorrow's going to be the longest day of work ever. I don't want to go. Then I'm going to, not only that, we have to get through tomorrow, and then we have to sit there at work all day Tuesday. And we gotta just like be looking at the team. Wait, is anybody gonna add, drop? What are we gonna do? Like everybody, pressure is mounted, and I just want to get it done.
Well, man, I mean, you also might be like me and have no one who plays on Tuesday.
I have like half my team plays Tuesday because I have all the prime time players. Like I have LeBron and Kat, and I have literally like half a boat. It's crazy.
You mean I'm on Amen Thompson? Isn't on the A-list players yet?
No, he's not. No, he's not.
I have one closing thought for you.
Okay.
All right. If Patrick Williams, the paw, averages 15 points a game this year, will you buy me a jersey?
I will buy you his jersey if he averages 15 points a game this year. I am just so out on this guy. I am damn close to saying I'll shave off the goatee and everything if he averages 15. Like that
15 is a low bar.
15 is not a low bar for how many people are going to be eating up minutes in that place. Like,
We're gonna hit it.
He played 35 minutes last year on more than one occasion and had less than 5 points, bro. On more than one occasion, he did that. So unless
Listen,
go ahead.
He's a late bloomer.
It's a real late bloomer, bro.
It happens.
All right.
I can't think of any good examples, but it happens.
Joel, that is the first one in the book. I'm holding the trophy up because I still have it, and I hope to have it at the end of this year. Just one last stat for you, and I just want everybody to kind of think about this as we go into this season. Since you want everybody to hate me, I will lay it a little bit thicker. I've won 4 of the last 5 championships. If I win this year, it'll be 5 of the last 6. And that would mean for half a decade I've been whipping on you guys. Just absolutely whipping on you guys. So I'm all about like the hate and blah, blah, blah. But I went out. Got the old guys. It's all or nothing these next 2 years. I want to see how long I can stretch out this championship run for. And hey, if you were me, wouldn't you be doing the same thing? Good luck this season. Later.
See you guys.